My name is Emily. This is a story about my first love. I met him when I was 14 years old. His name was Daniel. It was summer. The weather was warm. The sky was blue every day. School was closed for the holidays. I spent most days at the park. The park was near my house. I liked to sit under a big tree and watch people. One day, a boy came to the park. I had never seen him before. He walked slowly. He looked around. He sat on the grass not far from me. He was tall. He had short brown hair. He wore jeans and a blue t-shirt. He looked quiet. After a few minutes, he looked at me and smiled. I smiled too. "Hi," I said. "Hi," he said. "I'm Daniel." "I'm Emily," I said. "Do you live here?" "Yes," he said. "We just moved. Our house is near the school." We started to talk. He told me about his dog. I told him about my best friend, Lily. We talked for almost 1 hour that day. Then he said, "I need to go home now." "Okay," I said. "Maybe see you tomorrow?" "Yes," he said with a smile. "Same time?" I smiled. "Yes." The next day he came again. I was already sitting under the tree. He sat next to me. We talked again. He told me about his old town. I told him about my school. I liked talking to him. His voice was soft. He listened to me. We met almost every day after that. He always came to the park in the afternoon. Sometimes we talked. Sometimes we just sat quietly. It felt nice. I liked to be near him. I started to wait for him every day. One day, he brought his dog. The dog was big and funny. His name was Max. Max ran around the park. He barked a lot. I laughed. Daniel laughed too. "Do you like dogs?" he asked. "Yes," I said. "Max is funny." We threw a ball, and Max ran after it. We played for a long time. I felt very happy. That evening, I told my mom about Daniel. She smiled. "That's nice," she said. "He sounds like a good boy." "He is," I said. That summer was special. Daniel and I did many things together. We bought ice cream at the shop. We sat by the river and watched the water. We played games on our phones. Sometimes we just walked around town. He asked me once, "Do you have a dream?" I said, "Yes. I want to travel one day." He smiled. "Me too. I want to see the sea." We both laughed. We were just kids. But when I was with him, I felt different. I felt happy. I felt safe. One day he took my hand. It was quiet. We were sitting under the big tree. He looked at me. I looked at him. He smiled and held my hand. My heart beat fast. I didn't say anything, but I didn't let go. That was the first time someone held my hand. From that day, I knew I liked him more than a friend, but we never said love. We were young. We didn't know what to call it, but I knew it was special. Then, one afternoon, Daniel looked sad. He didn't talk much. He looked down. "What's wrong?" I asked. He waited a moment. Then he said, "We are moving again." My smile disappeared. "When?" "In 2 weeks," he said. My dad got a new job. I felt cold. I didn't want him to leave. "I don't want to go," he said. "I like it here. I like this." I didn't know what to say. I just looked at the grass. I felt my eyes get wet. We didn't talk much that day. We just sat under the tree. For the next 2 weeks, we met every day. We didn't talk about the move again. We just did what we always did. We walked, we sat, we laughed a little, but in our hearts, we were sad. On the last day, he brought Max again. Max barked and jumped. We played with him. Then we sat under the tree. "This is my last day," he said. I nodded. I didn't want to cry. "Thank you," he said, "for being my friend." I looked at him. "You're my best friend." He looked at me for a long time. Then he stood up. I stood up too. We hugged. It was the first and last time. Then he left. I sat under the tree for a long time. I watched the sky. I listened to the wind. I felt a pain in my chest. I didn't want to go home. After Daniel left, I still went to the park. I still sat under the tree, but it felt empty. School started again. I saw my friends. I smiled, but it was not the same. They talked about school, clothes, songs. I listened, but my heart was not there. I didn't see Daniel again. He moved far away. We didn't talk on the phone. We didn't write. I didn't know where he went. I just remembered his smile, his voice, his kind eyes. Some people say first love is not real, but I don't believe that. I was only 14, but what I felt was real. He stole my heart that summer. After Daniel left, my days felt slow. I woke up, went to school, came home, did my homework, and went to bed. Every day felt the same. I still went to the park sometimes. I sat under the same tree where we used to sit. I looked at the grass. I watched people walk by. But Daniel was not there. His voice was not there. His laugh was not there. I missed him. I missed his dog, Max. I missed his silly jokes. I missed his calm eyes. I didn't talk to anyone about it. Not even my best friend, Lily. She talked about school, her favorite singer, her new shoes. I smiled and listened, but inside, I felt empty. One night, I looked out my window. The stars were bright. I remembered one evening when Daniel and I sat on the grass and looked at the stars. He pointed at the sky and said, "One day, I want to fly." I smiled then. I smiled now, but this time it was a sad smile. After some months, things started to change. I laughed again. I talked more with my friends. I still missed Daniel, but I didn't cry anymore. The pain was still there, but it was softer. 1 year passed, then 2. I turned 15, then 16. Many things changed. My clothes, my phone, and my hair. I became taller. I started helping my mom at home. I studied harder. I got good grades. One day Lily said, "There's a new boy in our class." "What's his name?" I asked. "His name is Ryan," she said. "He is cute." I laughed. "You always say that." She smiled. "You'll see." I met Ryan the next day. He had short blonde hair and green eyes. He was quiet, like Daniel. He sat at the back of the class. In the first week, we didn't talk much. In the second week, our teacher gave us a group project. Ryan and I were in the same group. We talked about the project. Then we talked about other things. His family, music, food. He was kind. He listened. He asked questions. I liked talking to him, but it didn't feel the same. One day Ryan asked, "Do you want to walk home together?" "Sure," I said. We walked slowly. The sun was low. The street was quiet. He said, "I like walking with you." "Me too," I said, but part of my heart still felt far away. I looked at Ryan. He was a nice boy, but I didn't feel the same thing I felt with Daniel. With Daniel, even silence was special. I didn't tell Ryan about Daniel. I didn't talk about that summer. Before I share the rest of my story, I need to know, where are you listening from? Knowing someone hears me, understands me, gives me strength. That night, I lay in bed and looked at the ceiling. I thought about Daniel again. It had been 2 years, but I still remembered his voice, his eyes, his hand in mine. Why did I still think about him? Maybe because he was my first love. One evening, I went to the park again. It was quiet. I sat under the big tree. I closed my eyes. I could hear the birds. I could hear the wind. I could almost hear Daniel's voice. I opened my eyes, and then I saw something. A boy walking his dog. The dog was big and brown. My heart jumped. I stood up fast. "Max?" I said. The dog turned. The boy turned too. It was Daniel. He looked at me. I looked at him. For a moment we didn't say anything. Then he smiled. "Emily?" I ran to him. "Daniel!" Max ran to me and barked. He jumped around me. I bent down and hugged him. Daniel walked closer. He looked taller, older, but his eyes were still the same. "You came back?" I asked. He nodded. Only for 1 week. My grandma lives here now. We are visiting her. I smiled. I didn't know what to say. My heart beat fast. We sat under the tree. Max lay on the grass. You look different, he said. You too, I said. He smiled. I miss this place. I came here a lot, I said. I thought about it, he said. I thought about you. My face felt hot. I looked at the grass. Me too, I said. We talked for a long time. He told me about his new town, his school, his new friends. I listened. I told him about my school, my new class, my plans. I'm happy you're here, I said. I'm happy too, he said. We met every day that week. We walked Max. We sat in the park. We talked and laughed like before. But the week went fast. On the last day, we sat under the tree again. I leave tomorrow, he said. I nodded. I know. He looked at me. I wish I could stay. Me too, I said. He looked sad. Maybe we can text. Okay, I said. We stood up. He looked at me for a long time. I'll miss you again, he said. I'll miss you too. We hugged. Max barked. Then he left. This time, I didn't cry. I just watched him walk away. He came back, but not to stay. And I understood. Some people come into your life for a short time, but they stay in your heart forever. After Daniel left again, I went home and sat in my room. I looked out the window. The sky was dark. I saw one star. I thought about him. He came back, but only for 1 week. I saw him. I spoke with him. I laughed with him. But now he was gone again. I was not a child anymore. I did not cry this time, but my heart still felt heavy. I sat on my bed and thought about that summer again. The first summer, when I was 14, when I met him for the first time, when we sat under the tree and held hands. So many years had passed, but the feeling was still there. He was my first love. The next day, I went to the park again. I sat under the tree. The wind was soft. The sun was warm. I closed my eyes. I could still hear his voice. Hi, I'm Daniel. I like talking to you, Emily. You make me feel calm. I opened my eyes and smiled. These were small words, but they stayed in my heart. After that, life moved on. I finished school. I got good grades. I went to college in another town. I studied hard. I made new friends. I lived in a small room with another girl. Her name was Sophie. She was kind and funny. She liked music and dancing. I liked quiet places and books. but we became good friends. One day, Sophie asked me, "Did you ever love someone?" I waited a moment. Then I said, "Yes, when I was 14. She looked surprised. "That young?" "Yes," I said. "He was my first love." "Do you still talk to him?" she asked. "No," I said. "Not now." Sophie smiled. "I want to know this story." So I told her. I told her about the tree, the dog, the quiet park. I told her about Daniel. I told her about the last hug. She listened to every word. When I finished, she said, "That's a sweet story." "Yes," I said. "It's also a sad one, but also beautiful," she said. "You never forget your first love." I smiled. "No, you don't." After college, I got a job. It was in an office in the city. I worked at a desk. I answered emails. I made calls. I worked Monday to Friday. Life was busy. Life was fast. Sometimes I forgot to eat lunch. Sometimes I worked late. But I liked the job. It was not easy, but it was good. On weekends, I rested. I called my parents. I cleaned my room. I watched movies. Sometimes I went to the park in my new town. I found a quiet place and sat on a bench. One day, I saw a boy with his dog. The dog was big and brown. I looked again. For a second, I thought it was Max. But it wasn't. I smiled anyway. That night, I remembered Daniel again. It had been many years now. I did not know where he lived. I did not know what he was doing. Maybe he was studying. Maybe he had a job. Maybe he had a girlfriend. I did not know. And that was okay. I did not wait for him. I did not hope for a message or a visit. But he was still in my heart. I met other people. I talked to boys. I went on a few dates. Some were nice. Some were boring. But none of them felt like Daniel. One day, I met a man named Thomas. He worked in the same office building. He was friendly. He liked walking in the rain. He liked quiet music. He did not talk too much. We went for coffee one evening. Then we went again the next week. After some time, we started seeing each other more. He made me laugh. He listened. He asked me how my day was. He waited when I was late. He sent me pictures of the sky when it was pink. I liked that. He did not make my heart beat fast like Daniel, but he made my heart feel calm. One day he asked me, "Do you still think about someone else?" I looked at him. I smiled. "Yes," I said. "I think about a boy I knew when I was 14. He was my first love." Thomas was quiet. "I don't love him now," I said, "but I will always remember him." Thomas nodded. "That's okay," he said. I also have someone in my past, but it's just a memory now." We both smiled. That night, I went home and sat near the window. I thought about Daniel again. He came into my life for a short time, but he changed it. He showed me what love feels like. He showed me that small moments can stay forever. He held my hand under a tree. He told me I made him feel calm. He was my first love. And first love is special. It does not always stay, but it never really goes away. Now I am older. I work. I live in a new place. I have new friends. I have a new love. But when I walk past a park, I still look at the trees. I still smile when I see a big brown dog. Sometimes I sit on a bench and think about that summer. I was only 14, but I felt something real. I still carry that feeling, and I always will. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, comment, and share. More emotional and inspiring stories are coming soon.